Street photography is not that difficult to get into, but there are some do's and don'ts to take into mind before you start doing street photography. Let's go. There's a lot of people out today, so this is like a street photography bonanza. So many subjects to pick from. Of course, you can't just go out snapping away like that. Well, first of all, you have to have your equipment ready. Now, usually I'd take Leica M, but as you know, our Leica M is under maintenance. So we've got a D700 and a 50mm lens. I like the 50mm focal length. And we've just got some, well, I've got some clothes which are kind of a little bit trampish. I feel right at home in this area.
And we've come to the grittier side of Hong Kong to take pictures of some of the seedier sides of the city. Although not far from the bright lights of the city, this place feels somewhat detached from the more glamorous parts.
Let's switch the things like the AF assist lamp off because we don't want that going off in somebody's face. That's off. No beep. Okay, no beep. No lights, just that focusing lens and a camera. Let's go.
One of the first things you should think about is to find a place or subject. Focus on something that you're intrigued about, get a sense of direction and start looking for that shot.
Now, one of the first do's is that you should get everything set on your camera, not just the beeps and the lights, your settings. Get it so that you're comfortable with the settings. I've got an aperture priority. And I put the ISO up so I can have F8 and be there.
Don't worry about what the trolls say about P mode being for wussies. It's better that you get the shot in P mode and not in M mode.
Of course, when you're shooting street, you don't want to spend your time fumbling around with the settings because then you're wasting time and your shot is gone. And I've got it on a center focus point. Spot metering, that's how I like it. Well, sometimes when you're going from light to the shadows, you have to change the settings. Do that before you go to get the shot. That's somebody's granddad looking at porn there. So apart from the do's of street photography, there are some things that you shouldn't really do. Here's a don't.
Well, there isn't anything such as a street photographer's uniform, but just don't look like a rapist. Make sure it's comfortable to wear and will not make you look like a sore thumb covered in feces, on fire. Well, personally, I don't like to look photographer-ish either. No bright branded straps for me, no Velcro Cordura bag, definitely no photography vest. Still, better than the perv look.
Well, one of the key things you should do is to get in the zone, get right into the action. He misses him. That's why I choose the 50, because if you use a longer lens it feels a little bit disjointed and cold. You have to really get into the zone so that people can, when you look at the photo, you feel like you're actually there at the scene. You can almost smell the street, which isn't very pleasant, to be honest.
If you look at some of the most popular street photographers' photos, you may be able to see that they were most likely taken with a 50mm, 35 or even wider. This forces you to get quite close up and personal with your subject, but the shots will look nicer like that.
Now, if you're standing really far away from your subject, it feels like you're a bit of a perv, especially if you're dressed like a paedophile. You know, I picked a 50mm focal length because I got used to it. I kind of know where exactly the frames are going to be. So when you get to your subject, you just raise it. You know where the framing is, kind of.
It can be as uncomfortable for you to get close to them with a camera as it is for them to have a camera thrust towards their face. At times it does help to establish some kind of acknowledgement that you are near them. At times you need to take the shot as discreetly as possible.
Those mobile phones, $20 a pop, 20 Hong Kong dollars, that's about $2.5 US. So for $10 US you're going to get 4 phones. Bargain of the century if they weren't crap phones. You know, treat things like you would a beautiful lady. Don't feel like you need to rush it to get it over. You know, sometimes you can spend a little bit of time in that zone with your subject. Sometimes you have to let them get a comfortable view. It's not just the other way around. Well, there are times when it has to be in and out in 5 seconds. Kind of like how every man expects a prostate inspection to be like. But when you do that in and out business, just don't scare them away.
Your camera isn't a weapon, but it's a fact that people don't like having their photo taken by random who could potentially be a pedo or perv. If you at least succeeded in not dressing like a kiddie fiddler, then you're best not to behave in a yobbish way either. You don't need to hunt people down.
You know, when you're right in there in the deep, the thick of it, do weigh up your scene. Of course, consider whether your subject is going to bottle you. Or think about what they're going to do next. Quite often by the time you press that shut button, they're already doing what you thought they were going to do. If that makes sense. Sometimes you don't have to swear. Sometimes you don't have to raise the camera to your eye. Just look at what's going on with the scene. What's interesting. Subject. You know, Jonathan and I would love to see this. Spend all that time designing a phone and put that on it. That's me in 50 years. It's quite important to respect your subjects as well. Not just ones with meat cleavers in the hands. Everyone. And obviously, all this space is public space, so you can take pictures of whatever's in that public space. Of course, there are different interpretations of that. I mean, the boundaries are blurred. There's a fine line between being an artist and an arse.
Sometimes there isn't something happening in front of you for you to take that shot immediately. You have to look at the subject and consider the possibilities. Wait, and something might happen for you to raise your camera and capture that moment. Or you might go away with nothing. Well, that's how it is. However, there are times when you see something happen, you just have to make sure you're all set up and ready to quickly grab that shot.
But even though you don't know these people, don't be afraid to be close to them. Certainly don't hide.
Some people might think that you need to hide to get a street shot without bothering your subject, but that's going away from candid territory and towards the voyeuristic side of things. Plus, if you hide, you could get into some serious trouble if someone finds out.
Sometimes you have to be quite patient though. Sometimes nothing will appear. And it comes. Just like waiting for a bus.
Keep walking and searching the streets for things of intriguingness. Things are always changing on the streets. There's lots of things happening on the same block within a short period of time. Look around and there's always a chance that you'll see something interesting going on. Most importantly, keep trying. You won't always get that shot. Don't get caught up on that either. There's always going to be another great shot out there. You just have to be there to get that. It's not always easy to go out there and take shots of people on the streets, but give it a go and keep practicing. Oh, and get rangefinder. Like a. Oh, God.
Who the f was that?